So there's a bunch of different coaching, 7 teams looking for a new head coach. We thought it was 6 until Philadelphia shocked us yesterday and made the decision. So we're going to grade them, Joe. We're going to grade each head coaching opening.
Professor Colin, what grade are you giving the Eagles opening?
Well, after John Ritchie's interview, I probably should downgrade this a little. I had a C+ before I had John Ritchie. I do think they have a capable, smart owner, and Carson Wentz is talented. And by the way, Darius Slay's a great corner and Fletcher Cox a great defensive lineman. You could argue the Rams have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, so they do have 2 great players at defensive line and corner. So do the Rams. That's a really nice building block. But they're over the cap. Their wide receiving core was the lowest rated in the NFL. And I'll be honest with you, offensively, their best offensive lineman, Lane Johnson's always hurt. Brandon Brooks just came off an injury. They drafted a top left tackle a few years ago. Andre Dillard, I think is his name. They need him to play, but they have to address the offensive line fast.
What grade are you giving the Lions opening?
This is the worst opening. I would say a D+. You have Matt Stafford, so there's something there. But they've been in last place 3 straight years. The defense, despite the fact Matt Patricia was a defensive guy, has gotten worse. I just think it's a losing culture. They've had one winning coach since 1975. That's Jim Caldwell. So there's not apathy. People care, but they just, to me, Detroit and Cleveland before this year, like they're the most dysfunctional organizations. I mean, you can say Washington, but Washington's won a division or 3 in the last, couple decades.
What grade are you giving the Falcons opening?
Well, I like the owner, and Matt Ryan's a top 12 quarterback, so I'd say it's a B-. They're $25 million over the cap, 3 straight losing seasons. Their pass rush is not great, and their secondary is bad. The good news is they have got a top 4 pick, so they can either get a quarterback or they can get the best left tackle maybe in the decade out of college, Penei Sewell. So they do have, or they can move down with that pick. If they want to stay with Matt Ryan, somebody comes up. So I think their draft pick, it feels like a C job, but I think that draft pick is real leverage. It's a little bit of a gold bar, and I do think Arthur Blank is a stable owner.
What grade are you giving the Jets opening?
Now, I'm going to give it a C-, and you say, why not a D? They got a lot of draft picks. They have the number 2 draft pick, and they got $70 million in cap space. So if you got the right coach, you got a lot of money and a lot of draft picks. That's, in this league, it is hard to screw up a lot of draft picks and a lot of money. You're going to hit some of them. The other thing is, their GM, Joe Douglas, is not overly needy or forceful. I thought he had a very good draft for the Jets last year. They hit on a couple of secondary guys. The left tackle's a work in progress, but he's got talent. So I think you have a very capable GM who's not power hungry. So you can walk in and have real communication with your GM, and he'll probably ask your opinion on things.
What about the Texans opening?
Well, this is about Deshaun Watson. So if I have Deshaun Watson, that's a B. I would give it a higher grade, but they have to rebuild their offensive line. You got one more year of J.J. Watt. But here's the good news. They led the NFL in yards per play. Why? Deshaun Watson. Here's the other good news. They led the NFL in passing yards this season. So again, everybody wants a dynamic quarterback. I've got that. Don't love the owner. Don't love the front office. I think I'd move J.J. Watt. But I get a star quarterback, a star left tackle. And in this league, you can do everything right and be bad at left tackle and quarterback, and you're bad. You can do everything wrong, and I get Deshaun and a good left tackle, Laramie Tunsil, and I'm like, I'm a draft away from being okay if I can solve the offensive front.
What grade are you giving the Jaguars opening?
Should be better, but a B-. I mean, again, you got the number 1 pick. You're going to get Trevor Lawrence, and you got $73 million in cap space. This should be an A++ job, but there's just an apathy around the organization. I mean, here's an organization that's had 1 winning season in 13 years. They kept their GM. They kept their coach. It's a college football, high school football town. And so there's no demand for, the media has no power. Sometimes that can go overboard, but it's nice. This is why the SEC is so good, beyond having a good high school programs everywhere in the South, is that the fans are demanding, is that you've got to get good coaches, and if you don't, the fans voice their opinion. Nobody cares in Jacksonville. So I do think if they got Urban, that cap space and Trevor Lawrence, they'd win 9-10 games for the next 10 years, but would anybody care?
How about the Chargers opening?
This is about as good an opening as you can have. I get Justin Herbert. I get over $25 million in cap space. They have several stars under contract. Joey Bosa, Keenan Allen. I get Justin Herbert. And by the way, I was reading this morning. 16 of their 20 losses the last 2 years have been by a possession. So they've led a lot of games against a lot of good teams. And I think most people agree that's the opening.
This is the best job.
And the Spanos, they're not huge spenders on the free agent market, but they're not meddly. They're not like on you all the time. They're kind of, sometimes you wish they were willing to spend more money, but maybe that'll change in Los Angeles. There we go. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.